look at our McDonald's starting lineups with the rookie Marquise Daniels and Steve Nash, who is looking for a breakout game in this series. Dirk Nowitzki, Antoine Walker, and Michael Finley. That is the Dallas starting five. And for the Sacramento Kings, up 3-1 with Doug Christie, who has had a great series. Mike Bibby has won the battle with Nash so far. Peja Stojakovic and Chris Webber on either side of the center. Vlade Divac. Divac only played 11 minutes in Game 4. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Steve Kerr, Doug Collins, and Pam Oliver, and our entire TNT crew. Our friend Doug Collins still struggling with a respiratory infection. He is courtside with us, and maybe from time to time we'll bring him in. I don't know. He's shaking his head no, but we'll see. But Steve, great to have you here. Your feeling on this series and what you've seen in the first 4 games, and what do you expect here in Game 5?
Well, for Dallas, you know, they've been right there for 3 games. They find themselves down 3-1. It very easily could be 3-1 in their favor. So they've got to come in here tonight and realize they have played Sacramento very well in this series. They come in and get a victory here. All of a sudden, the pressure goes squarely onto Sacramento's shoulders.
Sacramento won the first 2 games by 11 and 4 points. Dallas took Game 3 by 25. And Vlade Divac and the Kings and coach Rick Adelman won Game 4 by 2. Dallas admittedly devastated with that loss. A game they thought they had, but they lose. Now they come down here down 2 games.
They really did everything they had to do to win in Game 4. They just couldn't pull it out. And the surprising thing in this entire series is the way Dallas has shot the ball. In fact, both teams have really struggled from the field, which nobody expected.
Our officials tonight, great crew: Bennett Salvatore, Greg Willard, and Mike Callahan. And up high they put Chris Webber and Peja Stojakovic, who began Game 4 in a 1-11 start. Gets it off to Webber with the shot clock down to 7 for Bibby, and the mismatch on Antoine Walker. And a rebound inside by Steve Nash. Nash the other way and flies, and he has really struggled in this series to score. Michael Finley inside, and Christie defending and tries to go up, and Bibby comes out of the pack.
Well, right away we were seeing both teams attacking. I like what Sacramento did on their first possession, move the ball from side to side.
And inside they send Stojakovic, and a quick Dallas foul is called inside. Dirk Nowitzki picks up his first.
I think one of the reasons Stojakovic has struggled so much in this series is that Sacramento has not run their offense like they normally do. This is a team that likes to move the ball. They've almost been lulled to sleep by Dallas with the size advantage that they have, and they've stopped moving the ball on the perimeter. It's made Stojakovic more into a one-on-one style player, and that's not his game.
And Steve, as we've talked about throughout this series, we've got the 2 highest scoring teams in the NBA, the 2 top shooting teams in the league, and both have used their offense to make them better defensively.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that happens in the playoffs is we see Webber miss his first shot, but you know, both teams are understanding what the other is going to do, so the defense has picked up. They've gotten better.
And Antoine Walker will take it inside. He's rebounding well, but not shooting all that well. And there goes sneaking in the rookie Marquise Daniels.
Boy, he's an impressive young player, isn't he? He does so many things well. You don't really know what position he is. He can probably play about 3 different spots.
And he plays a lot of point guard, but did not play point guard in college. Maybe down the lane, picked up by Vlade Divac.
Well, Don Nelson traditionally has about 12 guys on his roster who played point guard, who never played point guard in college.
That's exactly
Everybody
right,
plays point for Don Nelson.
And here's Dirk Nowitzki. He gets 5 field goals the other night, drives inside and gets a foul out of that Sacramento defense. And they put it on Vlade for the first time for the Kings.
Well, you'll see Bibby come in, the shot blocked by Nowitzki, and as frequently happens when a guy goes for a block, it frees somebody up for the offensive board, and that time it's Vlade Divac.
And so at the free throw line is Dirk Nowitzki, who is 29 of 35 and now 30 of 36 with that free throw right there. And Nowitzki, who leads all playoff scores right now with over 25 points a game, will put in another.
And you mentioned just 5 field goals in 22 attempts in Game 4. I like what he did right there early on in the game. Rather than settle for a long jump shot, get to the rim, find your rhythm early. That's what Dirk Nowitzki did right there.
Here's Christie finding Chris Webber, who leads the Kings in playoff scoring so far. And as he tries to spin, a traveling violation is called. That's the first Sacramento turnover tonight.
Well, they like to run that very often. They'll put Webber down on that block. They'll have Stojakovic come out of that corner, run that little dribble handoff, but too many steps for Webber.
Here's Steve Nash. Great pass inside to Antoine Walker. A foul, and Vlade Divac was defending. The assist to Steve Nash. And Divac will pick up his second.
Now let's take a look at the drive here by Nash. Such a wonderful pick and roll player, and I think very important for Antoine Walker to get off to a quick start. That's a big basket for him. Great roll to the bucket, and then draws the foul from Divac.
Walker in this series averaging 6 less points and shooting 10% less from the field. So he is still searching for his offensive game. He completes the three-point play, and the Mavs up by 5.
Well, he's not the only one struggling for Dallas. Everybody has struggled with their shooting. Got to give Sacramento some credit. Most people hesitate to do so defensively, but give him credit here.
And Stojakovic unleashing a three and picked up. Here comes Nash. Michael Finley, he has been struggling. Weber is meeting him at the other end with his defense. As the Dallas Mavericks come the other way, 2 of 5 to start this game.
Well, Dallas trying to exploit a couple of mismatches here, but as a result, getting a little staggered.
And a good shot by Antoine Walker, a guy acquired in mid-October. A 7-0 Dallas run right now.
Kind of a dangerous game. Anytime you're up 3-1, you're playing at home, you're not sure whether you should be too tight or too loose. Sometimes it's a difficult game to finish.
Good point. Divac inside, trying to get it up. And now the Kings have started 1 of 6 from the field. Here comes Nash. And looking inside. Looked like it went off somebody's foot, ricocheting out of bounds in 19 seconds on the shot clock.
A kick save and a beauty by Chris Webber. And a save it was because Marquise Daniels was open. Beautiful feed by Steve Nash, but nice defensive play there by Webber.
And Nash puts in a three, a big-time shot for Steve Nash, who is only shooting 33% from above the arc in this series, and a timeout taken by Sacramento.
This is exactly what Don Nelson hoped would happen, and this is exactly what Rick Adelman feared. Dallas finally making some jump shots.
They're playing with a sense of urgency. They need to. This is an elimination game. You got to win or go home if you're the Mavericks. Tonight, the 2004 NBA playoffs from the capital of California, Sacramento on TNT, being brought to you by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold, down, easy. By Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the NBA playoffs and finals, Southwest. By the U.S. Marine Corps, the change is forever. And by Van Helsing, on May 7th, adventure lives forever. Steve Kerr, Kevin Harlan, great to have you here tonight. Dallas has jumped off to a 10-point lead, and we're probably anxious to see if they can hold on to this urgent feel they're showing in their game in this contest.
Well, this is exactly what they haven't been able to do in the first 4 games of this series. They're finally making some shots, and it's the whole key. When it comes down to it, this is a Dallas team that relies on outside shooting. Look at what they've done so far, down in every category, including free throws. You wouldn't expect that, but they've got to make shots, and so far, quick start for them.
And they go inside with Bibby looking for Vlade Divac, and now the Kings have scored on only one of their first 8 trips. Here's Nash. He's hit 1 3, and he knocks in another. Steve Nash has given the Dallas Mavericks a 13-point lead on a 13-0 run.
And a great push by Antoine Walker. Got the ball up the floor so quickly that it allowed Nash to shake free for the outside shot.
And here's Chris Webber with Marquise Daniels defending. The double inside by Michael Finley, who might be the best Dallas defender, if you can say that, about a team that's given up as many points. And Finley picks up his first personal foul for the Mavs.
Well, Finley has the ability to be a good defensive player, but you know, the reality is this Dallas team is based on their offense, and especially in transition. When they can get moving quickly, now all of a sudden the defense is in trouble. They've got to mix and match, and Steve Nash that time wide open.
And at the free throw line is Chris Webber, who on game 4 went 5 of 8 from the stripe. Fans on his first right there, and Webber from the line in this series has gone 56%.
And he has really struggled with his game the last 2 outings. 1 assist and 14 turnovers. Stunning for a guy who really is a terrific passer for a big man.
The Dallas Mavericks have hit their last 5 shots. They lead it 15-3. Nash again lasers it in. Daniels gets it. And Dallas again with that lead.
Kevin, you talk to any coach in the league and they'll say Steve Nash is the key to this team. And look at the start he's off to now. A couple of open threes, a couple of nice passes for assists. He is rolling right now, and so are the Mavericks.
Walker made the knockaway, a 3-on-2 the other way. Nowitzki stripped by Mike Bibby, and he'll come Racing for the Sacramento Kings, Stojakovic for three. They needed that in the worst way.
Well, we talked about Dallas in transition, Sacramento as well. They love the transition game, and that allows people like Stojakovic to free themselves up for open shots.
Deceptive move by Nash to get open, and Steve Nash has started 3 of 3 from the field with the game-high 8 points.
Sometimes when you're faced with elimination, Kevin, it's easier to play. You just get out there, you let loose, you just go ahead and play and have fun.
And like you said, they're playing like it's a Game 7 are the Dallas Mavericks tonight.
And another turnover for Weber. That's 2 already. That means 1 assist, 16 turnovers in the last 3 games, 2+ games actually. Amazing.
He's at 7 the last couple, and Dirk Nowitzki knocks it in, and that's his first field goal since the third quarter of Game 4. He missed his final 8 shots on Monday night down in Big D.
This is a nightmare for Rick Adelman. Dallas has not shot well this entire series. Finally, they're getting it going here.
Brad Miller is in for the first time. There's Weber. And a rebound inside by Steve Nash. Dallas has not made any substitutions. Their starting 5 still on the floor. Nowitzki again. You could just sense when Dallas came out, their urgency, their whole demeanor was so much different than Game 4 down in Dallas.
I think they understand they've played Sacramento quite well. They probably should be better off than 1-3 right now in this series.
That's a goaltending call. And Stojakovic will get credit for it. And here are some of the numbers really in the very early stages of the game as we approach the halfway point of the first quarter. Mavericks have led by 15. The Kings have not led. And Nash with the floater down the lane. And a rebound corralled by the Kings, who are trailing in that category by 6 rebounds. Christie drives inside. Rebound by Dirk Nowitzki, twisting around Brad Miller.
This is more the pace that we expected for this entire series. Both teams running.
Into Finley from Nash, and Miller gets the rebound. Miller coming off a 16-rebound game in Dallas on Monday. Here comes Doug Christie, who's had 3 double-doubles in 4 playoff games. Rebound by Antoine Walker. He's averaging 10 rebounds a game in this series. And he's got 4 already tonight. Nash, Finley, and out to Walker. And they nicely rotated over to Marquise Daniels, who misses it all and out of bounds it sails.
Kevin, one of the things that Dallas is doing here early, they're running that high screen and roll with Antoine Walker rather than with that guy we just saw, Dirk Nowitzki. I think it's changed up the Sacramento defense, thrown them a little bit for a loop, and it's also allowed Steve Nash to free himself up a little bit easier.
They go inside, and there we see it. And Doug Christie with an assist on the dunk by Brad Miller with Nash on the perimeter. And Christie right there. Christie a second All-NBA defensive selection. Antoine Jamison in for the first time. The 6-man award winner. Nowitzki misses on the shot. Christie knocks it off to Bibby, and now they got a 3-on-2 with Bibby to Chris Weber on a charge.
Boy, what a great defensive play by Steve Nash. Jumping into that passing lane and holding his ground against Weber, and I think Mike Bibby might have been better off right here, pulling up at the foul line and shooting that little 10-foot jump shot that he's so good with. Instead, he kind of put Chris Weber into a difficult position.
So Dallas, having missed their last 5 shots, they go inside as Daniels was jumping up, and he was hacked at in this game. We've had 1 3 by the Kings, Pam Oliver, and 2 by the Mavericks as we send it over to you.
Hey, Kevin, as you know, Antoine Jamison has been struggling with those tight hamstrings throughout the series. Well, now it's been compounded by something else. Jamison has what the team lists as a strained glute. He told me he didn't even realize he had another injury until suddenly started limping around in the halftime of Game 4. Well, with the exception of some light shooting, Jamison has been held out of the Mavs practice. He says he's getting the typical ice and stim treatment, and even though he's not 100%, nothing could keep him from trying to help his team stay alive.
So John Nelson said it was a gutty performance in Game 4, and here he's out here again. Thank you, Pam. Mike Bibby picked up his first foul. Sacramento has trailed the entire game. Here comes Miller. And a foul away from the ball as Jamison and Bibby kind of got caught up in each other. And Antoine Jamison picks up the foul. That's the first on him.
Well, and you see there Dallas's philosophy against that split in the corner. They're switching every time in this series, and it's been very effective. But what will happen is you'll see a mismatch where Jamison will end up on Bibby, or maybe a smaller man will, or a bigger man will end up on Stojakovic.
Outside they send it. A 3-point shot nailed by Mike Bibby. In this series, he is 40% above the arc, and he brings the Kings to within 10. And here comes Nash Those are the first guard points from the Kings tonight. And Marquise Daniels fanning. Good-looking rebound by Peja Stojakovic, who lassos his second. Here comes Doug Christie. And off to Peja, who's picked up by Nash. Now they got Nowitzki on Weber. And Weber will dance. Bad leg and all with a series of fakes, and he got the foul on a Dirk defending inside.
And Peja is hurt. He was trying to come off a weak side screen. It looked like he banged knees with a teammate, and that's why you saw Weber end up just going one-on-one. They had nothing going on the weak side offensively.
Nowitzki picks up his second foul of the game.
Yeah, you see him run right into Bibby. That hurts. That's knee on knee. And he's got to run that out. That's going to bother him for a few minutes.
Good job by our director Longdale to pick that up. The guard scoring in the game is very lopsided. Dallas 14-3 in that category over the Kings. And there you see still Peja shaking off the effects of that bump.
Well, we'll see if Dallas goes right back to that high screen and roll with Nash and Walker. And the reason that they're going to that combination rather than Nowitzki is that Chris Webber is guarding Walker. They'd rather have Webber jumping out at that screen. He's not moving real well. He's more of a liability defensively than Brad Miller, so we're going to try to continue to exploit that matchup.
Sacramento's on a 9-2 run. The miss by Jamison, and here comes Mike Bibby the other way, finding Peja Stojakovic, who is 2 of 3 from the field. Much better start tonight in Game 5 than in Game 4. He works on Walker. And inside with the nice fadeaway is patented shot. Nowitzki with the rebound.
You know, that's not really what he's best at. He dribbled 7 or 8 times there, took the shot. He needs to be moving without the ball. Sacramento needs to be moving the ball to him on the weak side.
Dallas has missed 8 straight. Stojakovic for 3. Rebound by Steve Nash, and rebounding in this game +4 for the Mavericks, and inside the Daniels, and fouled by Stojakovic. He picks up his first foul in this game. The free throw shooting has seen the Kings go 3 of 4 and Dallas going 5 of 5. And what is important for Dallas, one of the top free throw shooting teams in the NBA in the regular year, is that they missed 13 free throws Monday in Game 4.
Shockingly enough, and you know, I remember a year ago playing with the Spurs. They came to San Antonio, took Game 1 of the conference finals, missed their first free throw, Kevin, and then shot 49 straight.
Wow.
So I saw that the other night. I said, where was that last year?
Sacramento has turned it over 4 times, and Dallas has had 1 turnover in this game. And Nowitzki with 2 fouls, and Vlade Divac with 2 fouls brings you up to date right there. We're approaching 3 minutes to play. A 3 by Bibby. Mike Bibby nails another.
I think Sacramento is doing a nice job of just staying in this game. If they're weathering Dallas's run early, if they can knock down a couple of shots, pick up their defense a little bit, they'll be in better shape.
Here comes Nash. He and Daniels have 8 apiece. Dallas no field goals in 4 minutes until that drive inside by Steve Nash.
And once again, picking on Weber on that high screen and roll.
And Bibby kicks it back out off Christie, tapping it to Weber. What a great pace to this first quarter.
Boy, it's been fun. Again, this is what we expected, right? Where has this been the first, or at least the last 3 games of this series?
Antoine Jamison.
What a lift he's given this team off the bench. You know, they basically traded Nick Van Exel for Jamison. They gave up 3-point shooting. They got offensive rebounding and big scoring around the basket.
Nice interception by the rookie Marquise Daniels. And now 5 turnovers for the Kings. Just a single turnover for Dallas. Here's Dirk Nowitzki. And taking it inside and grinding for 2. He's got 6 for the game with his 5 rebounds. And Doug Christie galloping the other way for Sacramento. His team down by 11. They've trailed by as many as 15. Weber missing the dunk as he got by Nowitzki. And Nash and Jamison in mid-stride, and taps in his own miss.
You said it early, Kevin. Dallas is focused, they're loose, they're playing well, and they're attacking. And this is the Dallas team that we've expected to see during this series, but the first time, I think, really, that they've come out and played like they're capable.
And rebounding better tonight. They needed to rebound. They were horribly outmatched on the glass in Game 4. Brad Miller knocks it in. And Miller looks like the last couple games, Steve, that he's getting more of a regularity to his shot with the bad elbow and the bad right shoulder.
Such a shame for Sacramento that they had so many injuries down the stretch, and Miller, one of those guys who's been hurt, but How about the point guard matchup here tonight? Mike Bibby knocking down the long three, and Steve Nash has just been terrific, finding the lane and finishing with the layup.
The 2 point guards have combined for 16 points, mano a mano, eye to eye, here in Game 5. Everybody that faces the Dallas Mavericks, Steve Kerr, feels that Steve Nash is the head of the snake. He is the key to their success.
Well, especially since they got rid of Nick Van Exel. Last year, you could kind of trade off a little bit. Those guys will both kill you, but tonight, he's off to an unbelievable start. And you know, the most field goals he's hit in a game in this series was 6 in Game 1. 6 for 20, though. He didn't have a good shooting night. There he is tonight, 10 points, 2 for 2 from 3, 4 assists. Terrific start, and Dallas has to have him playing well to win this game.
He has not turned the ball over yet, taking a breather right now. Kings haven't left. Mavericks have been up by as many as 15. Not a single lead change. We've had one tie, and Antoine Jamison out there with Finley, Daniels, Nowitzki, and Antoine Walker. Kings have Miller, Weber, Stojakovic, Anthony Peeler in for the first time, and manning the point will be Doug Christie for the Kings. No fouls to give either way in the final minute of this first quarter, which has been exhilarating to say the least. They've got Jamison on Christie, a screen by Weber. Christie takes it inside as Walker tried to knock it away. Ran out of bounds. It is not, with the shot clock at 4 seconds and the big clock at 39.9.
Boy, Christie had a lane to the basket too, but Walker reached in from behind and negated the layup.
Weber set a nice screen to open him up, and they go to Miller. Weber sets a screen here. Miller misses on the long-range shot. Here comes Antoine Walker. Dallas +8 in rebounding tonight. And Dallas from the field is shooting 48%. The Kings are shooting 38% in this first quarter. Nowitzki with the reverse, working on Miller, and a foul called inside on Brad Miller.
A lot of difficult matchups for Sacramento in this game because of the flexibility of Dallas's big people. You're going to end up with Miller guarding Nowitzki, and we saw that one where he draws a foul. You're going to see Weber having to come out and cover screen and rolls. Very tough for those big people, Vlade Divac included, to get out to the perimeter and do a good job defensively.
ESPN tomorrow night, as the playoffs continue in the NBA, will have the Heat and the Hornets, and Minnesota playing Denver. Sunday on ABC, the Spurs will host the Los Angeles Lakers. That's the national TV schedule. And at TNT here, we'll know more about our schedule after tonight. Could be games over the weekend, especially on Sunday in the final 15 seconds of this first quarter.
Now, how about Dallas? 9 for 9 from the free throw line, so they've taken care of that problem from Game 4.
Nahara is in, and he draws a quick little hand check on Christie. And Eduardo Nahara, and Doug Collins has been saying this throughout this series, certainly brings a new texture and a new feel to it, a physicality that is maybe a little foreign to these two teams who like to be in that sports car, jetting up and down the field.
You know, he's the one guy on Dallas's roster who you look at and say, man, that guy is a defensive-minded, tough, gritty guy. Everybody else is so talented offensively, but it's almost like they have too many guys on that offensive side of the ledger. They need Nahara out there to do the dirty work.
So Nahara will take a breather for the final 6 seconds because they bring Nash in for his offense. And Steve's got the game-high 10 points right now. The leading rebounder in the game. Got a couple guys with 5, Nowitzki and Walker both, for the Dallas Mavericks.
And once again, Dallas doing the job rebounding as they have most of this series. Now, they suffered in that category in Game 4, but already here 17-9 in favor of the Mavericks. They have 23 offensive rebounds in each of the past 3 games. So rebounding has been a problem for Sacramento.
And here comes Nash trying to beat the buzzer by Anthony Peeler. Kicks it out to Jamison for 3, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. That is the highest scoring quarter of this series by either team, as the Mavs get 37 points in the first, and this is exactly what they had to do. Doug Collins and Steve, you today were talking about Dallas had to make shots, and certainly they are doing that in quarter 1.
And that's why they're leading after the first quarter, and that doesn't bode well if history repeats itself regarding the rest of this series.
We've got a beauty in Sacramento, Game 5. You're watching the playoffs on TNT.
We've lost 2 games to them where we, shot about 34%. And those were games that we lost by 2 or 3 points. And, you know, that's really a possession. And if we had just shot anywhere near, you know, our capabilities, we could have won either of those games. So we have a lot to be positive about, to think that we can shoot better and to play better. And, you know, for once, our defense has kind of been our backbone, and that's positive. We've improved defensively, and hopefully our offense can catch up.
Steve Nash is doing his job in the offensive end. He's knocked down a couple of threes. He has drilled 4 of 5 from the field. He's got a game-high 10 as we start the second quarter with Doug Collins, Steve Kerr, and Cam Oliver. Kevin Harlan in Rock and Arco Arena. Here is Dirk Nowitzki with a 3 to open up the second quarter. In Dallas now is 3 of 5 and over 50% shooting 3-point shots tonight.
Well, you cannot leave Nowitzki for 1 second. Sangaila just gave him a tiny bit of room. That's all he needs.
And here comes Miller over the aforementioned Nowitzki. Stojakovic pulling the trigger inside. Let's set the lineups as we start this second quarter. Dallas with Jamison, Daniels, Nowitzki, Finley. And Josh Howard is in for the first time. There's a nice outside shot. Now with 8 points in the game is Antoine Jamison. The Kings out there with Christie Peeler, Darius Sangaila, Miller, and Peja Stojakovic as Anthony Peeler works on Antoine Jamison and takes it inside. The top 3-point shooter in the regular year in the NBA, losing it. And a turnover for the Kings. That's number 6 in the first half.
Well, Steve Nash said it. You know, they're doing everything well. They're rebounding, they're defending, they're forcing turnovers. He said all we need to do is knock down some shots. Well, that's what they're doing tonight. That's why they've got a 16-point lead.
Dallas is +8 with points in the paint. This is Marquise Daniels. Rebound inside by Brad Miller. And now Anthony Peeler, who played last for the Minnesota Timberwolves for about 6 seasons and brings his wares here to the capital of California. Stojakovic. Finley's on him, and Nowitzki goes up on Miller with Marquise Daniels on Doug Christie. Doug Christie, who's had a terrific series, and with Bobby Jackson out, he kind of becomes the emotional leader of this team.
Yeah, and you know, he and Jackson are kind of the tough guys on this team, and with Jackson out, it makes Christie's role that much more important. But he's a guy who's going to defend, he's going to rebound, he's going to handle the ball, and he can knock down some shots too. He's doing it all.
Dallas Mavericks have led by as many as 16. The Kings have not led in the game. Good feed. Finley to a wide open Marquise Daniels. More points in the paint.
And bad defense by Sacramento. You can't let Marquise Daniels get wide open 8 feet in front of the hoop.
Offensive rebounding certainly favoring Dallas as well. +4 entering this second quarter. Sangaila with a series of moves and gets it over Nowitzki.
You know, Sacramento has scored its last 2 possessions, but both times just one-on-one moves. Still not a lot of motion, not a lot of movement. And I don't know if they can beat Dallas without that movement and that extra ball movement that they get frequently when they're really moving well.
Josh Howard with the miss. Dallas has the worst road record of the Western Conference playoff teams coming in. They only won 16 games away from Dallas. Stojakovic launching a 3, and Daniels cleans it up for Dallas. He comes racing the other way. Who would have thought these 2 rookies would have this kind of impact on this Dallas team, and out of bounds it goes.
That's been amazing, their impact, but it'll be interesting to see tonight whether Josh Howard plays a lot. He's struggled in this series, 8 for 35 shooting, and Don Nelson early on has played some of his veteran guys, Nowitzki and Jamison and Antoine Walker, the combination of which we really haven't seen so far in this series.
Jamison just picked up his 2nd personal foul. Those rookies, by the way, Daniels and Howard, are combined 5 of 22 from the field in game 4. Miller inside around Daniels, who makes a great defensive play, and they call a jump ball maybe. Greg Willard saw one thing, and the other official, Bennett Salvatore, saw the other. And so let's see what they call it. They're going to rule the jump ball. And I think that's the right call. That was a terrific defensive play by Daniels.
Yeah, excellent defensive play, and that's the type of ability this young fella has. He can play some point guard, but he's long and lean. He can play defense, and you see there an excellent block of Brad Miller's layup attempt.
The Dallas Mavericks up by 14 on TNT. And now tonight's Bud Light around the NBA headlines. We know that Detroit will take on New Jersey in round 2. They took on the Bucks and beat them tonight 91-77. Denver star rookie player Carmelo Anthony questionable for game 5 of the Nuggets' first-round playoff series against the Timberwolves because of a sprained left knee. And what an exciting performance by Kobe Bryant on a very trying personal day. Bryant 31 and 10 assists. And they go to the Western Conference Finals, do the Lakers for the 8th consecutive year, and they take on the San Antonio Spurs with Doug Collins, Steve Kerr, and Pam Oliver. Kevin Harlan here in Sacramento. A jump ball after the timeout as Miller will go up against the rookie Marquise Daniels. We're talking about rookies. You've played in the playoffs in a rookie situation. It's tough, isn't it? And here comes Finley. And Josh Howard was ahead. They go into Jamison, who flies in for two. Acrobatic play by Antoine Jamison.
I think it's very difficult to play in the playoffs for the first time because it's a whole different level of intensity and pressure. And the focus is on you when you start missing shots. Both these guys have struggled from the field. The media's talking about it. The fans are talking about it. Very difficult situation to be in.
There's Anthony Peeler knocking in a three-point shot. And that has been a rarity for him in this series. Anthony Peeler only hitting his 4th three-pointer in 10 tries, and the Kings get their 4th three-point hit for the game.
And they have really struggled from three-point range since game 1 when they were 10 for 21. But since then, it's been a struggle. They're off to a much better start tonight, but unfortunately, they can't guard anybody.
Dirk Nowitzki is 4 of 8, 13 points. That is a game high. Mavericks are shooting 50% from the field, and the Kings are shooting 41% from the floor. And then Mike Bibby with a nice shot, basically uncovered and keeping Sacramento to within a 48-35 reach. As Dallas has 4 players in double figures taking it the other way with under 8 to play. In the first half as Jamison dives inside. Bibby comes out of the paint. And Bibby, no looks, and coming off the wing.
Great feed by Sacramento, and that's what they have to do. Make some stops, up the tempo, get some fast break buckets at the other end.
Michael Finley 0 of 4, hitting his first shot tonight. He's got 2.
Well, that stops the break, doesn't it?
Yep.
Tough to run when you're taking the ball out of the net every play.
Well, they got Nash set to come back in for the Dallas Mavericks. We approach 7 minutes to play in this first half. Here comes Stojakovic. Both teams are shooting 60% for the quarter from the field. Stojakovic, 4 of 8, and a Kings high 9 points for the game.
Well, again, you see Nowitzki switching out on to Stojakovic. Dallas is basically switching everywhere on the floor, and although Sacramento's making some shots, they're doing so in a one-on-one situation.
Kings have never led. Here comes Mike Bibby. Daniels tailing him down the lane. Finley, Antoine Jamison. Bibby makes the steal. Anthony Peeler gets it on a 3-on-2. Shot count.
In case you couldn't tell, this crowd back into this game as a result of 2 forced turnovers by Sacramento that led to fast break hoops. This one coming from Darius Songaila. Hang on to the rim, young fella. Now we've got a timeout coming from Don Nelson. I think they may have even called a technical foul for hanging onto the rim, but they're going to discuss that because Songaila had a couple of defenders underneath them, and you're allowed to come down. The question is, did he pull himself up onto the rim?
Dallas led by 16. Their lead has been chopped down to 7. Tonight, the 2004 NBA playoffs from Sacramento on TNT are being brought to you by Hyundai. Visit NBA.com and enter to win a new Hyundai Santa Fe. And by Miller. Vote Miller for president of beers. Good call. It's been a fun call here in Sacramento tonight as we have seen Dallas have their lead climb to as many as 16. We've had a tie. Kings have never led, and we've seen all kinds of fast breaking back and forth in this first half.
Well, you got to love Darius Songaila. This is an impressive young player. The way he ran to the rim, a lot of young guys just run to the perimeter for that 15, 17-foot shot, but he runs right to the rim and then hangs, and it appears that he has been called for a technical foul.
But you know what? Nowitzki is right beneath him, and if he doesn't hang, he collapses on Dirk, and who knows what happens after that.
And I think the reason for the call is that he pulled himself up. He did the chin up on the rim. You're allowed to hang, but you're not supposed to pull yourself up. And I think the reason they have that rule in, they don't want the basket support to move and end up with a 20-minute delay while they're trying to fix things.
Well, that is the Steve Kerr rule, but he used to dunk all the time, right? In the NBA.
That was in the 8-foot hoops at the elementary school we'd go back to during high school, so we could all dunk.
Yeah. 69% shooting in this quarter by the Sacramento Kings. They've hit their last 5. Nash is back in there. He's got 10, a game-high 14 from Nowitzki. Only 1 in double figures for the Kings. Bibby's got 10. Sacramento's on a 10-3 run. Dirk Nowitzki. Rebound by Peja Stojakovic. Rebounding in this game. Right now, Mavericks are +3 in rebounding. And that was a foul, and it goes on Josh Howard. The rookie out of Wake Forest, a late first-round selection. Here comes Mike Bibby. He has gone 4 of 6. Nash has gone 4 of 5. What a terrific point guard matchup we're watching tonight. They go inside to Singala. They've done this all night long. He's come off the bench. And Darius Singala has gone 4 of 4 with 8 points in 6 minutes.
Great execution by Singala, setting the screen, recognizing the switch, and slipping to the basket for the layup.
The Kings to within 6. Another steal. Here comes Anthony Peeler the other way. Peja Stojakovic.
Turnovers, Kevin. Turnovers has gotten Sacramento back into this game. They're forcing steals. They're getting out onto the break, getting some easy baskets.
Dallas has 4 turnovers, and the Kings have 5. Here comes Nash, kicking it out. Jamison, rebound by Howard, and picked up by Stojakovic. The rebounding much better now than they did earlier in the game are the Kings. Singala again. Nowitzki knocked it away. Here comes Nash, licking those fingers, wanting to create. Finds Nowitzki, who takes it inside and is fouled. Well, Bibby in there, and Bibby may have picked it up. That is on Bibby.
Well, the steal leads to an open court situation, and a little dribble handoff by Peeler that leads to the layup. When they're in transition, Dallas cannot get back into the lane to clog that area. A lot easier for Stojakovic and company to get to the rim.
Third-team All-NBA selection, Dirk Nowitzki at the free throw line. And tonight, Dirk, a perfect 6 of 6. The Mavericks, 11 of 11. Get an all-access look at the NBA playoffs. Tune into the NBA TV playoff show, Destination Finals, every weeknight at 6 o'clock only on NBA TV.
Kevin, you know, surprising that Dallas would turn the ball over because they are #1 in the league in taking care of the basketball. But if you look at the stats, they only have 4 tonight, but 3 have come in the last few minutes, and you see immediately what happens when you start messing around with the ball, losing it. It's easy baskets at the other end.
Absolutely, you got to be very careful. These are the playoffs as Finley watches Stojakovic, who tries to chisel his way inside, and the fadeaway.
Wow is right.
And a steal by Bibby. Another Dallas turnover. Mike Bibby inside. And now here comes Dallas, led by Marquise Daniels.
This place is rocking.
And Nash off to Dirk Nowitzki, uncovered. Miller was late, and Nowitzki makes him pay.
Again, penetration from Nash that leads to the open shot. That's why Nash is the key to this team. Gets his teammates involved.
Bibby for 3. The Sacramento Kings tonight have gone 5 of 9, but Mike Bibby 3 of 3 above the arc for the Kings. Nash inside, rebound inside by Antoine Walker, and a Kings foul, and Anthony Peeler is tagged. This has got to be about as exhilarating a half as we have seen in the entire first round. The crowd, the team, Sacramento on a 21-7 run.
Well, Peja one-on-one with Michael Finley. This is not his usual game, but gets that one to go. And then at the other end, how about Mike Bibby just feeling it? Little mix-up defensively for Dallas, leaving him open, and Mike Bibby pumped up. I hope you don't read lips at home.
I think we can officially welcome you to the NBA playoffs tonight.
We would definitely like to have, went further, but, it's kind of bitter right now. But, it's something that I guess after a couple weeks, you can reflect on the entire season as a whole, and, you can just realize that, it was a pretty good season.
Well, it was good to see Milwaukee back in the playoffs, but they do lose that series to a very rugged and deep and talented Detroit Piston team. Now the Pistons will take on the Nets. We've just been told by the NBA, 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday night on TNT, Game 1.
You think New Jersey will be well-rested, Kevin?
Oh, my God. And San Antonio well-rested, and the Lakers well-rested, and Indiana well-rested.
That's right. And actually, New Jersey can probably use the rest with the injuries they've had. But how about this turnaround here in the second quarter for Sacramento? Plus 12 in points, plus 7 field goals made, plus 8 points off turnovers. And, all of this has been done, Kevin, with Chris Webber on the bench. Sacramento has outscored Dallas 30-18 in 8+ minutes. And the same thing happened, in Game 4 in the third quarter. Rick Adelman put Webber on the bench. Sacramento outscored Dallas 31-21. So, there's definitely something going on physically with him. He's not moving as well, which leads to a defensive problem for Sacramento on that high screen and roll. And Rick Adelman saying, hey, I'm going to go with the guys who are getting it done right now.
Well, I give him credit because Webber is such an integral part of that team, the leading scorer in the playoffs and one of the best in the NBA, but they are operating better in this particular series without him.
Well, I think one of the things that happens offensively is that they stand around and watch Webber a little bit too much because he's so good.
Anthony Peeler, good point. Finley gets the rebound, and here comes Michael Finley out there with Nash, Nowitzki, Antoine Walker, and Marquise Daniels. And Finley grinds and looks for Antoine Walker. Another Dallas turnover. Here comes a 3-on-2 with Anthony Peeler. Doug Christie free to fire. And out of bounds, off of Dallas. With 3:09 to play, Dallas has 6 turnovers, but 5 have come in this quarter. And Pam Oliver, it's a 3-point game as we send it to you.
Absolutely. As the Mavs watch that big lead disintegrate, Don Nelson was hopping mad in that last Mavs huddle. He yelled at his players to start getting back on defense, get a hand in somebody's face. Del Harris chimed in and said, our lead has evaporated because we're just not playing defense. Back to you.
All right, Pam. Mike Bibby now at the game high. 17 points. Nash to Walker to an open Michael Finley. And Finley tonight 1 of 6. Nash with a great rebound inside. And plucked away by Anthony Peeler, who has come off the bench and given great intensity to this team. Peeler for 3. Rebound Singaila. Bibby has not missed above the arc tonight. Sacramento Kings have their first lead tonight over the Dallas Mavericks in an 18-point turnaround in this first half on this by Nowitzki.
Kevin, it's a lot easier to play defense when you're making shots. And all of a sudden, Dallas missing shots, turnovers, and Sacramento taking advantage at the other end.
Mike Bibby has gone 9 of 11 with a 16-point second quarter and 22 for the game. Nash. This is how Bibby was a couple years ago against the Dallas team, and of course against the Los Angeles Lakers as Nash takes it down the middle.
Well, splits that high screen and roll. They've been jumping him every time on that play. That time gets right into the middle of the lane and finishes it with a nice layup.
Here comes Anthony Peeler slipping it inside to Singaila. I know you're a Bibby fan because you've got some ties to Tucson, but just being as objective as you can be, he's playing well.
Is it that obvious?
It's very obvious.
There's a lot of guys around this league I could get excited about. Though, Kevin. We're well represented. You just don't see that very often from Doug because the Salukis aren't. No, not the Salukis. What are you guys called? The Redbirds. That's right. The Redbirds aren't that well represented in the NBA.
It's Antoine Walker. And another knock away by Anthony Peeler, who's been terrific. Shot clock is at 6. Marquise Daniels, no call into Finley.
Finally, a Dallas basket. You see immediately what happens is that now they can get back on defense and set things up a little bit. And no open floor opportunities for Sacramento.
One thing Sacramento was doing early was taking the quick shots, which feeds right into what Dallas wants to do the other way. Anthony Peeler's coming. His defense has been far better tonight than his offense. Here comes Daniels. And right down the middle with a soft two-point shot.
Boy, he handled that break nicely. He could have made a pass, but I think it would have been a little dangerous given the angle. Pulls up nicely, under control, knocks down the little runner.
Both teams have a foul to give. The Kings are shooting for the game 53%. Dallas shooting 49%. Dallas on a 6-0 run, which is quickly stopped on a nice dunk inside by Brad Miller off the bench. 6 points and 3 rebounds, and Nowitzki for 3. Good! Dirk Nowitzki knocks in the 4th 3-point hit for Dallas tonight. The Kings have hit 6 of 12 above the arc.
Is this fun or what? I'm glad I got to come do this game. I missed the last 3, but I come here tonight and look at this score, 66-63 just before the half. Unbelievable offensive output.
And Mike Bibby has been absolutely outstanding, working for a final shot down the lane, carving his way free. Nowitzki looks to get the ball. Shot clock goes off in 9/10 of a second remaining. 9/10 of a second on the clock.
Rick Adelman is saying, look, didn't that ball hit the rim? I think he thought that it should have been a live ball, but they're going to put 1.6 back onto the clock. Dallas with a chance here to get a decent shot.
And Antoine Walker will take it and miss. The Dallas Mavericks jumped off to a 16-point lead in the early stages of the game. The Kings fought back. They led by 4, and at halftime, Dallas is up by 3. So we had a 20-point turnaround at one stage of our first half. The Mavericks led by 15, and with 8 minutes left, the Kings went on a 30-18 run to close the half. Let's go to Pam Oliver.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve Nash. Let's start with the positive. You guys came out shooting that ball extremely well, but what were you thinking as that lead evaporated?
Well, I'm pretty frustrated right now. I thought we were playing great. We were aggressive, and we turned the ball over a few times and we're careless. And also, you know, we can't give them open shots. What made us so good defensively the first few games was our scrappiness and our determination to try to cover them. Tonight, we lost that when we got a big lead.
Mike Bibby is hot, as you know, as well. How do you try to cool him off in the second half?
Well, our pick and roll coverage has been terrible so far. You know, we got to try to take that away now that he's the hot guy and make someone else score. So he's got to do a better job on the pick and rolls.
All right, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Back to you, Kev.
Thank you, Pam. The combination of Nash and Bibby has been absolutely jaw-dropping. A combined 36 points between these 2-point guards. And most would say these guys make their respective teams go. Ernie Johnson, we're going to unbuckle or fasten our seatbelts or whatever we're going to do. We're going to just take a deep breath because this has been some kind of first half, which finds Dallas on top 66-63 at halftime as we send it to you in our studios in Atlanta.
All right, thank you, Kev. Highest scoring half of the series so far. In fact, the last time these teams played in Sacramento, it was 61-60 Kings after 3 quarters. And tonight, 66-63 Dallas as they fight to stay alive. Let's look, as we introduce Charles and Kenny, a couple of things in the first half. Number one, 21-6 lead early on for Dallas. They were up by 16, and all of a sudden, some turnovers, and Mike Bibby, you guys just lighten it up.
You know, he and Sam Cassell are the best open shooting guards in basketball. So you can't leave them open. They don't miss spot shots. When the ball's rotated with them, Mike Bibby has a little bit more range than Sam, and that's probably the only difference.
7 out of 8 in the second quarter, but then Dirk Nowitzki has the answer for Dallas as the Mavericks take a lead into the locker room at the half. And obviously this is that win or go home thing because Dallas is down 3-1. What'd you make of the first half?
Well, the reason, you know, Kenny was disagreeing with me before the game, so I said I thought Dallas could win tonight. The only way all the teams I picked to close out in the elimination, they're great defensively. Sacramento can't close anybody out defensively. They've got to do it offensively. So what that means is you're always going to have a chance to win the game. The thing is, even when they made that remarkable run, I said, Dallas is fine because they're going to get their shots on the other end. All they got to do is shoot a decent percentage, and if they can have one hot streak down the stretch, they will be in the game. I'm not saying they're going to win, but they will be in this game until the end. And see, I think they shot their load in terms of you go up 14, 15 points on the road, and you don't hold them back, and you don't hold them at bay. And now you have a team that can come back and shoot the ball just as well as you did in the first half. So that's why I still believe that it's going to happen. The Sacramento Kings will get their hot streak,
and it'll be an easy win for them.
This is more of the
Could be wrong.
Sacramento-Dallas
Could be
kind
right.
of series that we expected to see as a 66-63 game at the half with the Mavs leading by 3. You all right over there? Good. Still to come, the Pistons and the Bucks.
We got to watch that game. Those highlights. We know the
Hey,
Pistons won.
But we're going to show you how it happened when we come back.
And then analyze it. I want you to analyze why that.
One team scored more than the other.
That's good. Let's go home.
The Halftime Report is brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the NBA.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Back here on the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. Forgot to do this earlier, Charles. Felt bad about that.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Bucks postseason media guide, no longer necessary. Add that to your collection. It happened tonight as the Bucks were eliminated in 5 by the Detroit Pistons. Happened at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Michael Redd, get out.
These people spend a lot of money on playoff media guys nowadays.
Well, they're very helpful.
They should make it like you don't
around.
get to print these after you make it past the first round.
No, there's Tayshaun Prince, by the way, who's just unconscious in this series, shooting 59% against
Richard
Milwaukee.
Jefferson is on the way.
You saw Rip Hamilton going to the rack there. And then
Good luck. I cannot wait to see Kenyon Martin against the Wallace boys.
91. Well, let's go down that trail. I mean, Kenyon Martin, a huge series against the Knicks, and you got the huge front line for Detroit. So is this a battle of wills, or do you look at it and say, no, this team is superior to this one?
Well, see, me and Ken disagree again.
And that's good TV. We like
Yeah,
that.
well, I don't just disagree with him for the hell of it. I think Detroit's weakness is transition. Milwaukee proved it in Game 2. I think it's going to be a chess match because one game to the next does not mean anything in the NBA. If I had to pick somebody, I would go with Detroit because they're going to get they tough down low. But if New Jersey get their running game going, it wouldn't surprise me if they won. But if you're asking me to pick somebody because I have to, I would go with Detroit.
Will they be able to slow down? How do you go about slowing down the run of New Jersey?
I think Detroit is good in transition defense. I think what Milwaukee was able to exploit in that game that they won is that if you have guys who can knock down shots in transition over the top, so short 15-foot jump shots, perimeter shots, you can beat Detroit. That's what it has. That's what's a weakness for New Jersey is that they don't have 3 guys that can knock down shots. They don't have Kukoc. They don't have Michael Redd, Damon Jones. They don't have Desmond Mason, guys who can hit 15-foot jump shots. They have guys who slash to the basket and finish and dunk. That's the difference, and I think that will be the difference in the series.
Meantime, what's this sound mean?
It's time for a fishing story.
The Milwaukee Bucks. Tell us a fishing story, right?
Well, you know what? I was out on a lake one time, and I was just thinking that, how are we going to do
Lake
this
Milwaukee?
today? This is Mini Paka up in Milwaukee. And I had my man up there, Michael Redd, and I'm going to keep Van home because he's not really a fisherman. He's been on a lot of fishing boats. He's been in New Jersey on a fishing boat. He's been in a couple other places on a fishing boat. It was cold up there.
Hey, his parka's a lot bigger than your catch that day.
I tell you,
That was not a very good day,
You know, it's ice fishing. You know, you just drop your pole in the ice, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Back with more on the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report in just a second.
Had a great season, though, Milwaukee. Great season. Great job.
I want to fish with Terry Porter.
Great job,
Terry.
Great job, Terry Porter this year.
I want to fish with Terry. He ain't been fishing with me in a long time, since the Portland days.
The 2004 NBA playoffs. Coverage continues on TNT.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use or dissemination of this telecast, or the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Back here on the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report, we know we have Game 1 of the Detroit-New Jersey series on TNT Monday night at 8 o'clock. We're not working tomorrow night.
We're off?
Yeah. Saturday is off because Detroit clinched tonight. Sunday, we don't know. We could be here Sunday. Dallas would have to force a Game 6.
Sunday's a Lord's Day.
Or Denver would have to force a Game 6. But so we don't know yet if we'll be here Sunday.
Move over. Every time you start talking religion, I think about lightning bolts.
I'm going to heaven.
I'm not saying you're not.
Well, maybe not.
I just think about lightning bolts.
At any rate, we know we're working Monday. All that other stuff, I don't know.
He lies a lot, so lightning.
The Halftime Report has been brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the NBA.
We've waited 2 weeks for this kind of game, and we've got it. Western Conference, first round, best-of-7 playoff series. Dallas and Sacramento, the two highest scoring teams in the NBA with Steve Kerr, Kevin Harlan. This has been so many different facets of this game. The point guard play, the rebounding advantage. What has caught your eye here? And there's been so much to talk about.
Well, for Dallas early on, I thought they did a great job of really attacking the rim. They got to the foul line 14 times in that first half and made all 14. And then Sacramento got back into the game by forcing 6 turnovers in that second quarter that led to some open floor situations. And then the floodgates opened up. That's when Bibby got hot.
Bibby was terrific. Steve Nash was very good, too, as we take a look at our Jeep first half statistics. And almost 50% shooting by Dallas and over 50% for the Sacramento Kings.
And remember, in the previous 3 games, neither team had shot better than 40%. So unbelievable turnaround here with the shooting, and nobody was hotter than this guy.
Yeah, he was terrific.
Well, he got going on that turnover. I felt like that was a big play, because anytime you can get an easy one, then all of a sudden the jump shot becomes much easier. That rim looks bigger. Now all of a sudden you knock down a couple of jumpers and the lane opens up. And of course, a couple of offensive rebounds by the Kings led to shots like that. So Bibby was just on fire. And thankfully for Dallas, Dirk Nowitzki had a pretty good half himself.
Back and forth they went, and Steve Nash, 17 minutes and 14 points. And he was 5 of 7, hitting threes to begin the game. Was Nash. In fact, you take Nash's 2 of 2 and Bibby's 4 of 4. They've got 6 of the game's 10 3-point shots made.
So 4 for 4, 2 for 2. So together, they're 6 for 6. You know where I learned that?
University of Arizona.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. How many times are we going to get that in this broadcast, you think, huh?
Maybe a couple.
We've also got with us tonight Doug Collins, who is helping us out, but his voice is just not cooperating. He's got a pretty good-sized respiratory infection. He is here courtside with us tonight. Cam Oliver is covering the stories on both benches, and we're glad you're with us, settling in for the second half. We'll buckle up once again, harness ourselves into our chairs, and get ready for what we expect in this elimination game for Dirk Nowitzki and Dallas to be a great second half.
Well, we talked a little bit about Weber not playing at all in the second quarter. I thought Vlade Divac played just 4 minutes in that first half, and he's not going to start here. Rick Adelman is going to go with Brad Miller. That was his best lineup, at least minus Weber when Sangaila was out there.
But Weber is in there with Christie, Bibby, and Stojakovic. That is the 5 for Sacramento. Here is Antoine Walker. Is out there with Finley, Marquise Daniels, Dirk Nowitzki, and Steve Nash. That sets the lineups to begin this third quarter. Our second half underway here in Sacramento. Christie lasers it inside for Chris Weber. Rebound by Antoine Walker.
I love the play that Rick Adelman sets up, trying to get Weber going, but you know what? He's just not moving well. He didn't explode off the floor. He just kind of put that ball up lazily, and he's just not physically right.
That's a big shot by Michael Finley. Only his 3rd hit tonight, his first 3, and he's got 7.
Important for him to get going. Has not been to the foul line here tonight either. So Finley, I would look for to be much more aggressive here in the second half.
Marquise Daniels knocks away, deflects out that pass from Bibby, and here he comes, galloping with Steve Nash, launching a 3. Rebound by Antoine Walker. Another Dallas offensive rebound, and they are way up on Sacramento in that category, in that series that started a couple weeks ago. Here's Stojakovic to Christie and back to Peja. Stojakovic, a deflection by Walker, retained by the Kings. What a pass inside. Bibby to Brad Miller.
Deflection by Dallas had them scrambling. They thought they could come up with a turnover, but it left them exposed defensively underneath.
Bibby gets around 2 defenders and spoon feeds Antoine Walker. And he has done most of his damage in this series underneath.
Well, that's where he should be. You know, he shot a lot of three-pointers with Boston, but he's an excellent offensive rebounder. He can get to the foul line. I think he should spend a lot more time in the paint.
Walker already has 4 rebounds in this quarter. It's not even 2 minutes old until right now. Here's Christie with the Weber screen. A 2-point shot, make it a 3. It's a 3 by Doug Christie.
If you're going to double team, then you've got to be able to trust a rotation of some sort. Nobody came for Dallas.
Michael Finley is surrounded by white uniforms, and he steps out of bounds. He was crowded. He was hemmed in with no place to breathe. Kings are shooting 54%. Dallas 46%. Mike Bibby. Boy, everything's been from outside. Bibby kind of sneaks his way inside.
It's a part of his game that I think is underrated. He's so good with the ball and so quick on that little changeover that he frequently finds his way to the rim.
Steve Nash over the outstretched arm of Doug Christie, and Nash has gone 6 of 9. He's got 7 assists and 16 points.
What a show these two guys are putting on here tonight.
Nash was guarding Christie, was taking it inside, and Steve Nash sampling in, picks up his first foul.
Well, here's what I'm talking about. Just that little quick right to left crossover, and he finds the rim. Not a lot of help defense from Dallas on the weak side.
14 assists and 8 turnovers tonight for the Mavericks. 15 assists and 8 turnovers for the Kings. And Stojakovic inside with the layup and the assist again to Brad Miller. Marquise Daniels slides in for 2 at the other end.
How many seconds went off the shot clock there before
about
that?
4.
4? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And here's Weber, who is a very good passer and picked up by Antoine Walker. Shot clock is down to 9. And Weber tried to go inside, lost the ball, and he scoops it off to Brad Miller. And they all kind of watched it happen.
Kind of a funny-looking play.
It was, yeah.
Excellent awareness by Weber to grab the loose ball and find some guy underneath.
Nash off the wing, puts it down. He's got 18 points. What a playground game we've got in Sacramento tonight.
This is great, and you gotta love watching Steve Nash going left. He's so good with that left-handed finish. Kind of sets up his whole game. He loves going that direction.
Dallas is +6 in rebounding as Christie takes it inside, and there is a foul, and it is away from the ball. And Antoine Walker will pick up the foul. That is the first on Antoine Walker, the Kentucky Wildcat. Doug Christie tonight has played well. Stojakovic inside to Chris Weber. And he steps out of bounds, knocked out of bounds, and the shot clock as Sacramento will inbound is at 11 seconds with 8:08. This game has moved so fast, too. I mean, not only on the floor, but just time-wise. I mean, it's just really been quick. Stojakovic for 3.
Boy, right out of the out-of-bounds situation. Michael Finley turns his head just for an instant. That's all Stojakovic needs.
This is the 4th tie of the game. Antoine Walker for Dallas leads. Stojakovic with the rebound, and tonight is corralled 6 rebounds, has 18 points.
Take a look. Michael Finley doesn't have his head turned, and he's got to be aware. That guy's too good of a shooter to not have your eye on the ball and on him at the same time, but Finley gets caught in a bad spot.
10-second violation. 8-second violation as they were coming across, and Bibby very nonchalantly was taking it past, and he calls his team back on defense as he's called for the 8-second.
Well, that rule really changed everything as a guard. I mean, it used to be you could kind of take your time. Now, if there's any kind of movement in the backcourt, as we see Nowitzki miss, any kind of offensive rebound or defensive rebound where you get held up a little bit, boy, that clock ticks quickly.
Mike Bibby was taking it inside, knocked away. Here comes Steve Nash the other way, 7 of 10. Quick feed to Antoine Walker, and another assist for Nash, who's got 8 of them in the game.
There's that left hand again. Loves to dribble with his left, finish, and pass. You know what some people might say?
He's amphibious.
That's right.
Who said that? Marvin Barnes.
Charles Shackelford.
That's right. Inside, Miller goes to Chris Weber. Yeah, he was amphibious.
He's amphibious. He can use both hands.
Under 7 to play in this 3rd quarter. Michael Finley picked up by Christie, and here comes Nash. And Christie goes on Nash. And Bibby is guarding Finley. Michael Finley Slammed in by Daniels, who came off the wing uncovered and untouched.
Well, you know what happens sometimes? There's so many cross matches out here. Guys switching all over the floor. All of a sudden, there's going to be some openings on the offensive boards.
Dallas is led by 16. The Kings have led by 4. Here's Brad Miller. The defense now at a low point. I mean, they're kind of standing in line and watching these guys fire at will as we're tied at 81.
This is more the lack of defensive attention that we had expected in this series.
Yes, kind of like the All-Star game. As a miss right there is picked up by Stojakovic.
Well, these two teams were playing way too hard the last 3 games defensively. This is more like it.
Sacramento is 8 of 10 in this quarter as Miller gives it to a wide open Stojakovic. And off of the hands of the Sacramento Kings with 6:02 to play in this third quarter. Pam, what do you have?
Hey, Kevin, maybe back to the drawing board for Sacramento. This is what they wanted to do in the second half. A number of priorities. First of all, they wanted to stop the Mavs from getting into their transition game. Don't think that's happened. Can't leave Dirk Nowitzki alone when he rotate on other people. And priority number 1 is stop Steve Nash. But ultimately, they say we just got to keep shooting the ball well.
Nash has 18 and 21 from Nowitzki is a Dallas high. Game high 24 from Bibby into Marquise Daniels. Very athletic tonight. Shoved as he was airborne, and Bibby picks up the foul. And that is number 3 on Mike Bibby of the Sacramento Kings. Marquise Daniels starting in these playoffs tonight, playing very well with 16 points and 4 rebounds. Part of an onslaught offensively by both teams. An elimination game. We're tied at 81 in Sacramento. Tonight, the 2004 NBA playoffs from Sacramento on TNT are being brought to you by Radio Shack. You've got questions and we've got answers at Radio Shack. And by Jeep, the most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4 out there. Only in a Jeep. Let's flash back as we got a great 81-81 thriller midway through the third quarter here tonight to last year Western Conference semifinal series here in Sacramento. Nick Van Exel went absolutely ballistic with a career-high 40 points and made a series of difficult clutch shots as he rallied the Mavericks to a 141-137 double overtime win over the Sacramento Kings in a 2-1 lead in that semifinal series.
Well, you mentioned Van Exel, and I think when we talked about the 3-point shooting that they missed, I think they also miss his swagger. You know, he would come in to visiting arenas and just dominate games as Nowitzki misses the outside shot, but they had something special about them on the road a year ago that they've lacked this season.
Antoine Jamison has now come in for the Dallas Mavericks. Weber, Christie, Stojakovic, Miller, and Bibby, the 5 out there for the Sacramento Kings. They got Weber inside over Daniels, and he just overpowered him that time.
Well, again, the switch by Dallas that leaves Weber with the smaller man on him. That time he finally gets him to go.
And Antoine Walker rolling the other way. He's got double figures. He's got 11 points. A game high 24 from Bibby. And 21 leading Dallas with Nowitzki's 6 of 15 effort. As Doug Christie hobbles the other way, he's at the top of your screen on the sideline. Weber over Nowitzki. Rebound by Antoine Jamison.
Rick Adelman making a concerted effort here in the third quarter to try to get Chris Weber going.
Marquise Daniels for 3, and Daniels knocks that in. And in this series, Marquise Daniels has just hit his first 3-point shot of this series. We're in game 5.
You know how in baseball they call guys a 5-tool player because they can do 5 different things? That's what Marquise Daniels reminds me of. He can play point, he can shoot threes, he can offensive rebound, he can defend.
Stojakovic, and Daniels with the rebound, and the rookie playing well. 19 points and 5 rebounds tonight. Nowitzki with Stojakovic and Weber having him in a grip, and outside Antoine Walker with a rebound off the fingertips of Doug Christie and out of bounds off the Kings. 3-point shooting in this game. The Kings 8 of 14, and the Mavericks 6 of 11. Get the Tums, baby.
These guys are just losing it. They've been so close the last couple of years, and a couple of injuries last year, and of course the devastating loss to LA 2 years ago. They just haven't been able to get over the hump.
Steve Nash misses only his 5th shot in 12 tonight. And Mike Bibby finding a double in his face. They go inside to Brad Miller.
What a great feed. Again, Dallas jumping out at Bibby and finds Miller with that nice over-the-top pass.
Miller's got 14 for the game and 8 for this third quarter as Nash finds Marquise Daniels, picked up by Doug Christie. It's Nash and Antoine Jamison puts it down, and Jamison off the bench has put in 12 points, 6 of 11, 12 points in 15 minutes.
Remember game 1, he had 18 points in just 20 minutes, so this guy can light it up in a hurry.
Miller again, back to Bibby, setting a screen as well. Bibby for 3, his first miss from long range. And Daniels galloping and feeding on the break. Nash inside, off of Miller, picked up by Jamison and off the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, Mike Bibby finally missed. I think Adelman ought to pull him out of there. Get him out.
He is 4 of 5 shooting threes tonight.
Just kidding.
Offensive rebounding. Dallas again continues their dominance, plus 7 in offensive rebounds, but second chance points belonging to Sacramento. Bibby with the fake on Nowitzki and scooping underneath, and picked up by Nash. 2-on-1, 3-on-1 with Nowitzki and Walker. It's Antoine Walker from the side.
This is what happens when you force turnovers, or if you can get quick rebounds off missed shots. You end up in transition. This is how Dallas started the game, and that's how Sacramento got back into the game in the second quarter.
Antoine Walker's got 13 points, and 8 have come in this quarter. Jamison saves it, but Christie gets it back, and the shot clock is at 9, and an official timeout. And Salvatore, they wanted to reset the shot clock. Change of possession, correct?
It's the right call because Jamison did have control as he saved the ball. We'll see here as he dives, he makes a great deflection here, and then watch right here, they're going to call that a possession, which whether you think it is or not, that's the way it's called in this league. And then unfortunately, the shot clock was not reset because Sacramento would have ended up with a layup there. Tough blow for the Kings.
So 22 seconds on the shot clock in a 90-85 Dallas game with 2:29 to play in the third. And there's a turnover each way with Stojakovic going to Miller down low and guarded by both Nowitzki and Walker. Walker, the primary defender. Nowitzki grabs his 6th rebound of the night. Here comes Marquise Daniels, who's been great with that mid-range jump shot in this series. Christie chases down the rebound. Doug Christie, Peja Stojakovic. Daniels there, Jamison with some help defense, and he goes back out to his man Christie, who goes behind the back to Stojakovic. Rebound by Nash. He now has 7 rebounds, 11 assists. What a pass! Nash can't believe that Nowitzki missed the first, but Dirk got it on the second try, and Dirk has a Dallas high 23 points.
Well, 2-on-3 is normally not an advantage for most teams. It is for Dallas. How about that pass?
That was something to watch.
Well, he's got Walker there on the wing on a 3-on-2, and this one is a 2-on-3, and he really forces the issue, tries to draw the foul, and he says, I'll just throw it over my head to Dirk Nowitzki.
Steve Nash has a double-double, and he's led Dallas on a 6-0 run and a 7-point lead. Here is our Marines teamwork play of the game, and once again with eyes in the back of his head, Steve Nash working in for his 11th assist of the game. He's got the double-double, the only player in this game with the double-double. But he's been invisible, Steve Kerr, up until now, but tonight he is playing as well as he has played in any game this season.
He started out this game on fire, and he has kept up his great play ever since. And what a terrific pass. Dirk Nowitzki blew his assist.
Yeah.
That would have been number 12. I think the question now, Kevin, is how long does Rick Adelman stay with Chris Webber? Because he has, frankly, not been effective tonight, and the Kings have played their best when he's been on the bench and with Darius Singala out on the floor.
Eduardo Nahara is back in the game. That is a layup inside. And look at Don Nelson, who thinks that there should not be a foul on Steve Nash. And Christie makes it. It's a 5-point game. Nash picks up his first foul of the game, and a technical foul on Don Nelson. Stojakovic, 51 consecutive free throws. He last missed a free throw on March 21st against Houston. And that does go back to the regular season on that consecutive free throw streak by Peja.
Well, you can see why Don Nelson is upset. Nash with the mismatch takes the charge. His feet are planted outside that arc. That's a charge, and that's a difficult play for Don Nelson and his team to have to deal with, because now you got a 4-point play.
Christie's got 9, making 10 points and 5 rebounds. Free throw shooting, the Kings 7 of 8. Mavericks 14 of 14. Here's Daniels to Nowitzki. Dirk has got a Dallas high 23. As Nash works on Bibby. What a great matchup the two-point guards have been tonight. Nash off balance, puts it down. He's got 20, Bibby's got 24 as they continue to battle. 6 in the quarter for Nash.
Boy, he has an amazing knack of hitting that fall-away jump shot, going either way, right or left.
Kings are shooting 53% from the field. Nahara has given Weber trouble in this series, but right there, Weber got his composure back after getting that little bump.
They got to that left shoulder. Earlier in the game, Dallas was coming with a little bit of a double team to confuse him. That time, no help for Nahara.
Dallas is shooting 48% as Nash goes inside on Bibby. We're down to 43 seconds to play. Sacramento's got a foul to give. Nowitzki. Rebound by Brad Miller, who's been terrific tonight. Grabs his 5th rebound. He's got 14 points and 6 assists for the big man. Miller is open. Christie's on Nash. Look at Christie diving for the ball. Just knocked it away.
It's been such a great game to watch, and so many runs back and forth.
Christie picks up the foul, and that is the first on him.
Like a cat just waiting to pounce.
Second team All-NBA defense again for Doug Christie. Number 5 in steals in the NBA in the regular season. 16 seconds on the big clock, 14 seconds on the shot clock. And a shove, and Christie picks up another one.
Well, that's going to send Steve Nash to the line.
Yep.
So that's just a bad foul by Christie. A little overzealous. It's a guy who loves to make steals and deflections. That time, it's going to cost him. A little over-anxious.
We thought a key tonight for Sacramento, Steve, was defensive rebounding, but that's even at 23 in this game. That's a good sign for the Kings. On the offensive glass, a little bit different story is Dallas is +8 in offensive rebounding so far.
Well, it's the #1 offensive rebounding team in the NBA. And, you know, remember a year ago without Antoine Walker, without Antoine Jamison, this is not a very good offensive rebounding team, but this team really changed their personnel, and the result was great interior quickness, which leads to a lot of offensive boards.
Sean Bradley comes in. He's 7'6", one of the tallest in the NBA. He's only played 2 minutes in this series, but he's in there for the final 7 seconds. Is Mike Bibby, who's gone 10 of 15 tonight, hit 4 3-point shots. Finds an open Brad Miller, who makes the fake, and James bites, and Miller knocks down a 3. Oh, what a way to end the third quarter, and the Kings lead and tie it at 96.
Kevin, Brad Miller is a much better player when he starts. He showed that all season. When Weber came back, he went to the bench, didn't play as well, but he started this third quarter, and he just looks more comfortable out there. And how about the 7-footer knocking down the 3-pointer?
Time now for a look at our Gatorade X Factor of the game. And it's the big 3 in the fourth quarter in this series, and the numbers aren't pretty.
No, they're not. And you know what's shocking is just 14 attempts for Nowitzki, normally a big fourth quarter guy. So that's going to be very important for Dallas tonight to get these guys going. They've been close in really all 3 losses. So they've got to find a way this time.
We hesitated with the score there at the very end of the quarter because we weren't sure if it was a 3, and sure enough, they looked on the monitor during the between quarter break, and they did count it for 3, which did tie the game, although now a A great drive by Chris Webber inside gives the Kings a 2-point lead. Nowitzki picks up his third.
Well, you can see Webber slips the screen. He starts to come over and set it, and when the defense jumps out like they have been on Mike Bibby, that leaves the lane for Webber.
And Webber rims it out. 7 of 9 shooting from the stripe for the Kings. The Mavericks a perfect 16 of 16. Starting the fourth quarter, Marquise Daniels along with Walker, Jamison, Nash, and Nowitzki for Dallas. They go inside. Jamison back to Daniels, and the shot clock is at 8 for Nowitzki, working on the 6'9". Peja Stojakovic. Great up and under move, and he makes it go.
It's kind of that old Kevin McHale move. He used to do that down on the block. Dirk does it a little more on the perimeter, but that pump fake and up and under.
They got Miller out there with Webber, Stojakovic, Bibby. Webber with Christie on the weak side right now, and Bibby was inside, and a Jamison foul for the Dallas Mavericks.
It'll be interesting.
Third on him.
Excuse me, Kevin. It'll be interesting here in the fourth quarter to see what Rick Adelman decides to do with his substitutions. Whether he brings in Darius Songaila for Webber, which was a great combination for them in the second quarter. It looks like Vlade Divac will probably remain on the bench.
Bibby for three. Mike Bibby tonight from three-point territory is nailed 5 of 6.
Any doubt that he's their guy and clutch.
Walker inside, and a great assist from Steve Nash, number 12 in assists and 22 in the game for Nash. Scoring-wise, Walker's got 15.
Bibby has been doing it for several years now. Playoff time, tense situations. He's usually the guy who ends up with the ball in his hands.
Bibby with a game-high 27 points. Nowitzki's got 25. Peja Stojakovic made the fake and got open. He's got 21.
Now, Marquise Daniels has to learn, first of all, this is the playoffs. Second of all, you're a rookie. You're not going to get that call.
Antoine Walker with Miller defending and loose inside and picked up by Stojakovic. The Kings have hit their last 6 shots from the field.
Boy, almost an over and back there on the pass from Stojakovic to Christie.
And Doug Christie off to Bibby. Wow! This is unbelievable. 6 3-point hits for Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby has given the Kings their biggest lead tonight by scoring a playoff career-high 30.
Well, here he takes advantage of a little double team on Doug Christie, just getting that shot over the outstretched arms of Marquise Daniels. And the second one, a little dribble handoff, also from Christie. Mike Bibby coming up big again at crunch time.
Mike Bibby has been absolutely spectacular tonight, a playoff career-high 30 points, but we have seen this kind of performance, this electric performance before in the playoffs.
You know, certain guys are just clutch come playoff time, and Mike Bibby is one of them. He just has a knack for hitting big shots. He loves it. You can see he loves the pressure. He loves the excitement in this building. He did it to the Lakers a couple of years ago. He's doing it to Dallas tonight.
And Bibby in this series is 12 of 22 hitting three-point shots against the Dallas Mavericks. We're under 10 to play. And the Dallas Mavericks trail by their largest deficit tonight of 6. Here's Dirk Nowitzki out to Nash. Quickly kicks it to Finley for 3. That's a big shot by Michael Finley, who now has 10 points in the game. That's his second 3 tonight.
And you see Nelly has gone with his veteran lineup. He's taken his rookies out. He's got his guys who've been there before on the floor now.
Mike Bibby again sneaks inside as the Kings have hit their last 9 shots. And they got Nash and Nowitzki with the mismatch on Bibby. Little help from Stojakovic, which leaves Nash for 3. Rebound by Chris Webber. Webber tonight has 13 points. Peja Stojakovic with 23 points.
Once again, the cross match at one end leads to a transition mismatch at the other.
Kings have their biggest lead, and a nice outside shot by the 6th Man Award winner, Antoine Jamison. He's put in 15 points in 21 minutes.
Hey, season is on the line right now for the Mavericks. They have to come up big and hit some shots. And I don't expect them to go away. I don't think anybody does.
An elimination game with Sacramento up 3-1 and a traveling violation on Chris Webber. That's turnover number 12. The Mavericks have turned it over 9 times. Shooting in this game has seen the Mavericks go for 48% and the Sacramento Kings 58% from the floor for the game. Bibby with the steal. Chased by Jamison, who picks up the foul.
Jamison wants the foul to be called out on the floor, but Mike Callahan doesn't agree. Mike Bibby will shoot 2 free throws. A little steal from Webber, and then Bibby with the presence of mind to get to the ball quickly before Jamison chases him down. Kevin, very important here, I think, for Sacramento to continue to move and continue to run and create offense. If they stand around like they did on that possession with Webber a moment ago, they could get into trouble.
Mike Bibby from the free throw line. His first shot tonight is in. He's got 33. The playoffs continue tomorrow night on ESPN as Miami will host New Orleans and Minnesota plays Denver. Sunday on ABC, the Spurs host the Los Angeles Lakers, game 1 in the second round.
You think that might be a good series?
Wow. They've got a lot of good second round series in store. Antoine Walker, Michael Finley over the late arriving Christie, and now Finley has hit 2 straight. He's gone 5 of 12. He's got 12 points in the game.
Again, that veteran lineup. Finley has been through these wars so many times.
And here's Webber, 5 of 12 himself, and a foul. Oh, another traveling violation. That forearm was strictly in his back, and the travel is called on Webber for the second consecutive possession. 13 Sacramento turnovers.
Second possession, you can see he switches his pivot feet here. Yep, he picks it up. That's a good call. That's the 3rd time he's done that in this game.
And second straight, and a miss by Jamison, and loose inside. And Webber inhales his 6th rebound tonight. Mike Bibby, a playoff career high 34, a 3 right here, a rare mess above the arc by Mike Bibby, who has knocked down 6 threes in this game. As Nash finds Finley, he's hit 2 in a row, and a rebound by Antoine Jamison, leaning inside with the Sacramento foul. Goes on Brad Miller.
Another offensive rebound for Dallas, and really that's what's kept the Mavericks in this game. Sacramento just shooting lights out from the floor, and if Dallas didn't have this huge edge in offensive rebounds and at the foul line, they would have been blown out of this thing.
Dallas has 13 offensive rebounds tonight to the 4 of the Sacramento Kings. So Dallas is winning that +9. There is a timeout taken on the floor with 7:18 to play in this 4th quarter. What a game we have seen tonight. As Webber is saying, how can you call me for traveling twice? And Bennett Salvatore says, I'll show you how. You lift up your leg and that's what happens. Timeout, an elimination game in Sacramento tonight on TNT. Tonight, the 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT are being brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Cisco Systems, this is the power of the network now. By Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And by Lamisel AT, the official athlete's foot treatment of the NBA, with Steve Kerr, Doug Collins, and Pam Oliver, Kevin Harlan. It's an elimination game, but we've got a lot of points being scored tonight. We still have 7:18 to play in the game.
Incredible. I mean, this could get up to over 250.
Three-point shooting has been terrific tonight. The Kings 11 of 19. The Mavericks 8 of 15 above the arc.
Our Kings have been incredible all over the place. 58% from the floor and 82 from the line. Look at that. 58 from 3. The only way Dallas has stayed in this game is with their offensive rebounding, where they have a 13-4 edge, and by shooting 16 for 16 from the free throw line.
18 of 18 now for Antoine Jamison and the Dallas Mavericks. Jamison 2 of 2, 7 of 7. Nowitzki at the line. And after missing 13 free throws in game 4, Dallas has come back and done terrifically from the stripe. And Christie down the lane into Nowitzki and loose inside with a Dallas foul. And looks like Dirk picked it up. He did. Number 4 on him.
A little screen and roll. You know, Sacramento's been running that with Mike Bibby most of the game, but they run it with Christie, and I think it threw Dallas off a little bit. They didn't get the help defensively that they've been getting when Bibby's been running it.
And Bibby launching his first. Rather, Christie launching his first inning. Doug Christie has got 11 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds tonight. Only 3 of 6 they've gotten scoring in so many other ways. And that one rolls out. So he's 4 of 5 is Doug Christie from the stripe tonight.
You know, Kevin, in games 1 through 4, Don Nelson was really going with his rookies in the 4th quarter. They struggled. Now he's sticking with his veterans. Finley has hit a couple of big shots. Jamison as well. So maybe these guys will be able to bring home the victory.
And that is a turnover. And Dallas tonight has turned it over 11 times. 13 turnovers for the Kings. And Christie and Nash in a charge and a foul on Doug Christie.
I've never been a big fan of that play. You know, you jump in front of a guy at half court, you kind of lean in, and give credit to Steve Nash for sticking his nose in there, but are his feet set? I'm not so sure.
Christie picks up his 3rd foul. And here comes Nash. The rookies are on the bench for the Mavericks. Great feet. Walker inside as he caught it in mid-stride and 2 shots right in front. And Nowitzki trying to clean it up and does. Dirk Nowitzki's got 27. That is a Dallas high.
And another couple of offensive rebounds there that lead to another Maverick basket.
Mike Bibby getting a screen from Weber outside. Christie for 3. And Miller got right in front of Antoine Walker, knocking him astray. And puts it back as Nash races the other way with the Kings on top by 3. Nowitzki guarded by Stojakovic and Miller and still gets it to go.
Come on, Dirk. You're killing me. That's unbelievable. Both those last 2 shots, he was hit kind of around the waist area, got some body, and it doesn't bother him. He has such great body control on that jump shot.
29 points for Dirk Nowitzki. Bibby for 2. And Christie chasing it down. Walker knocks him out of bounds, and a shove and a foul called on Antoine Walker.
Well, how good has Brad Miller been tonight? 21 points on 10 for 13 shooting, 6 assists and 5 boards. And look at 38 minutes he's played, Kevin. Rick Alleman has just decided the matchups are not right for Vlade Divac, who's been on the bench for the entire game other than 4 quick minutes at the start. And looks like Alleman will stick with Weber and Miller as far as he can take him.
Vlade only played 11 minutes in game 4. And Christie from the free throw line tonight, 5 of 6, 12 points. No one on the Kings with 4 fouls, but the Dallas Mavericks have 4 on Nowitzki, 4 on Walker, and 4 on Jamison. And in this match now they get Bibby back on Nash, and here's Antoine Walker dealing with Weber in a travel.
You know, it's amazing. You watch games all year and you see guys do that. They pick up the pivot feet and you think, why don't they call traveling? Now all of a sudden here we are, game 5 of the playoffs. They're calling it every play.
117 points for the Sacramento Kings tonight, the most scored by any team in the playoffs so far in this postseason. We still have 5:15 to go. Here's Weber into Miller, guarded by Jamison. Rebound inside by Dallas and Jamison, and that is a foul. It's a loose ball foul on Brad Miller. And Miller, Pam Oliver, picks up his 3rd foul. What do you have?
Hey, Kevin, it was none other than Chris Weber who's been singing the praises of Brad Miller. As Weber noted, Brad Miller really gave us a lift in game 4 with his incredible rebounding. He said Miller followed with a terrific practice when the Kings arrived back in Sacramento. Miller's at it again tonight, Kevin, showing no signs of that shoulder and elbow problems that have hampered him most of the way.
Yeah, he's got 21 tonight. And now 13 turnovers for the Dallas Mavericks. 4 have come in this 4th quarter as Christie gives to Stojakovic with 23. That's a very quiet 23 for Peja. In this match now, Nowitzki is guarding Christie. Now Nash is on Miller. Shot clock at 5 and a travel.
Unbelievable.
This is unbelievable.
Well, I guess if you're going to call it at one end, you got to call it at the other.
15 Sacramento turnovers, and like Dallas, 4 have come in this fourth quarter. Antoine Walker has got 15 points, 11 rebounds, so a double-double for him. Steve Nash down the lane and can't get it to roll in. Weber with the rebound, and he's got 7.
Dallas now, every possession is going right at Chris Weber, putting the ball in the hands of Antoine Walker, trying to take advantage of his lack of mobility right now.
Weber picked up by Walker. Shot clock at 5. Rebound tap by both Nowitzki and Nash. And Dallas will try to tie with a 3. And Jamison with that in mind. Rebound inside. Nowitzki fighting for it, and a Sacramento foul.
How did you know they were going to try to tie with a 3? You just knew they were going to throw it to Jamison. And
when you work with Doug Collins, you have a sixth sense about these things.
It was impressive. You called it. It was like you called the play.
Stojakovic picks up his 2nd. Well, 1 out of 100 ain't bad.
You know, you throw enough something at the wall, so
that's
something's
exactly
got to
right.
stick.
Yeah, it's going to stick. That's how it is with this crew. 117-114. The Kings lead by 3. Dallas led earlier by 16 points. Sacramento's been up by as many as 7. Nash, Nowitzki, and a 3-second violation inside. It's on Antoine Walker.
This is just stunning. The traveling, 3 seconds. There's 3.5 minutes left in the playoff game. Let's see if people can make shots to win the game.
Nelson arguing his case. He already has a technical foul tonight called on him. Here's Christie with Nash. A handoff to Bibby. A Miller screen. 2.
Well, we know that guy can make shots to win a playoff game. He's been doing it for years.
Mike Bibby has 12 points in this fourth quarter. He has a career playoff high 36 for the game. He has knocked in 6 3-point shots. And like he did 2 years ago against the Lakers in the playoffs, Mike Bibby has taken this game by the throat and squeezed. Well, we began this fourth quarter by telling you that the big 3 of Nowitzki, Nash, and Finley had struggled in the previous fourth quarters in this series. And tonight you look at some of the updated numbers on what they've done in tonight's fourth quarter.
Well, Nowitzki has shot the ball well, 3 for 3, but they've all been outscored by this guy. 12 in the quarter, 36 for the game. He just loves these situations. There's certain guys, Kevin, who seem to thrive in pressure situations. He's definitely one of them.
Sacramento Kings have shot 61% in the second half. Here comes Dallas down by 5, and Finley with the ball. And Nash will slap. Rebound by Stojakovic. And gets it off to Bibby. And Peja with the double-double. 23 points and 10 rebounds. Bibby with the game-high 36. And here's Miller, who's played well. 21 points and 5 rebounds. And into Christie. Rebound by Dirk Nowitzki, who's now got 11 rebounds and 29 points.
Christie couldn't take advantage of the mismatch with Steve Nash. Overshot that bank there.
It's Finley inside. Nash with the good fake, and Christie did, and Nash with the mid-range jumper and a Weber rebound.
Well, Nash is frustrated here. He was so hot in the first half, and he's had a couple of good looks here the last minute or so. Hasn't been able to knock them down.
Dallas has missed their last 4 shots. We're approaching 2 minutes to play in this elimination game. Sacramento up 3 games to 1. A miss by Weber, and Nash gets it. And Walker to Nash, by Miller, and in for 2. And it's a 3-point game with 2 to play as you look at a nervous Mark Cuban.
Critical play there for Dallas, making an excellent save along the sidelines that leads to the Nash layup. Now they're within 1 possession again.
Mismatch with Walker and Bibby. Nowitzki is on Weber. A little pump fake by Weber, but short again. He's missed a couple inside, and picked up by Nowitzki to Nash. The pump fake and the drive. And out of bounds. And off of Sacramento with 1:32 to play in a 3-point game.
And take a look at the save. Great job by Christie hustling, but Nash gets it back. And then once you get out in transition to the open floor, it's easy sailing to the rim.
Finley to inbound. Finley stepped out of bounds. He inbounded, he got it back, and he stepped out of play, and that's a turnover for the Dallas Mavericks. They got 15 on them tonight, which equals the 15 of the Sacramento Kings.
Well, Nash gives him the pass, and Finley, I think he thought Nash was going to take it to the rim, and he wasn't ready to step in and receive that pass. Let's see if Sacramento goes back to Bibby now. He's the guy who's been hitting all the big shots.
Mike Bibby is 14 of 21. A 2 here. Another miss. And suddenly Sacramento has missed their last 4 straight. An interception, another Dallas turnover.
Well, you want to run clock, but you really want to get a good offensive possession too. So Kings have to move the ball a little bit. They can't just stand around here.
And it's Christie with the shot clock at 7. The drive by Jamison, the reverse inside, the rebound by Walker. And here we go with Finley. 2 to make 1.
They could go 2 for 1 here. They don't have to go for the 3.
It's Walker. Inside. Rebound Nowitzki, and he puts him down to within a point.
And there's a 5-second differential in the game clock and the shot clock. So Dallas does not have to foul here.
31 points in this game for Dirk Nowitzki. 8 in the quarter.
Now, once again, offensive rebounds keeping the Mavericks in this game.
We've had a couple of tight games. Game 2, a Stojakovic defensive play on Michael Finley. And Sacramento had a 2-0 lead at the series at that time. And then in game 4 a couple nights ago, Stojakovic watching Nash. And that gave Sacramento a 2-point win in Dallas. And tonight, with an elimination game, Sacramento leading 3 games to 1. This is game 5.
Well, if you're Sacramento, you've got a 5-second shot clock differential, so you still need to get a good shot. And I think that's the guy you got to go to. You have to hang your hat on something, and he's the one who usually comes up big. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little dribble handoff. Bibby likes that play coming out of the corner and getting a couple of screens off the dribble from Brad Miller and or Weber. And if you're Dallas, you could foul if you wanted, if you got the right guy. Now, if Weber gets the ball in his hands, you could foul, take your chances, and leave extra time on the clock, because if you let it run out, you're basically going to have to get a rebound and call a timeout and set something up with 4 or 5 seconds left.
Well, you speak of Weber, he's only 3 of 9 from the line in the 4th quarter during this series. And Christie will inbound, and Bibby is picked up by Finley. Sacramento has not scored from the field in over 3 minutes. And a 5-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock as Bibby gets a Miller screen, the mismatch on Nowitzki. And Mike Bibby knocked away by Nowitzki and picked up by Jamison. And a Dallas timeout with 5.9 to play.
Well, we just saw the 2 isolation plays in those last 2 games. Same thing here. A lot of teams like to run the clock down and just run a simple isolation, but that's a difficult play in which to score. So Finley with this defense on Bibby leads to the switch, and Nowitzki does a nice job of staying in front. Bibby just loses it.
Maybe the defense overall of Nowitzki is not better, but his defensive position, as Doug Collins says, is better.
They did a nice job there.
Very good. Tight game. Dallas has it when we come back.
Inside the NBA comes your way after the game. Mavs down 1 with the ball. 6 seconds left, Chuck.
Don't have time for a pick and roll. Steve Nash takes something to the basket, make it yourself, or dish, somebody shoot, win or lose.
See if you can make a better decision this time than last game for Steve Nash.
Back to Kevin.
DJ, thank you. The Kings, as you see, do have a foul to give with 6.2 seconds to play. Dallas out there with Finley, Marquise Daniels back in the game, Walker, Nowitzki, and Nash.
Well, I think Dallas actually does have time for a quick screen and roll, despite what Charles says, especially if it involves Weber. So don't be surprised if they try to put Weber into a tough spot defensively and let Nash take advantage of that. And now Weber is going out of the game, so excellent move by Rick Adelman.
Anthony Peeler has come in for the Sacramento Kings. Stojakovic, Miller, Christie, and Bibby out there. Nash and Nowitzki knocked away by Stojakovic into it. Score the series. Sacramento wins it.
Looked like Peja Stojakovic actually tried to take a foul. The Kings did have one to give. It wasn't called. Nowitzki ends up with the open look, but can't quite get it to go.
And does not extend the series. It's over as the Sacramento Kings, with their owners, the Maloof brothers, beating Dallas 4-1 in Game 5. Let's go to Pam Oliver.
And it's over because of Mike Bibby's performance tonight. Mike, you guys did not want to go back to Dallas. What does it mean for you to finally put these guys away?
You know, it was a tough game for us. We started out a little slow, but I kept telling everybody we don't want to go back to Dallas. You know, so everybody kept fighting. We had a good second quarter. You know, we just kept fighting.
What were you determined to do on a career night for you, points-wise?
I can't hear you.
What were you determined to do tonight on a career night for you?
I was going to do whatever it takes to win. You know what I mean? We started out slow. You know, I just tried to be aggressive in the second half. When Chris went to the bench, I took it upon myself to be aggressive.
What needs to happen for you guys in the next round, in the semis, as you try to advance?
Same thing. We're just going to apply to, you know, take a rest tomorrow. You know, get rest and, you know, just gear up for Minnesota.
All right, thanks a lot. Minnesota it is. Let's go back to Kevin.
Dallas Mavericks, last 3 losses in this series by 4-2, and tonight by a single point.
Devastating loss to this series, to this game. They, as you said, they played them so well. But for Sacramento, now all of a sudden they've got a little confidence. They had such a difficult end to the season, but with a little confidence going now, they'll face the winner of Minnesota and Denver, and surely Vlade Divac will become more important again as the playoffs go on.
Final score, Sacramento 119-118. They win this first round series 4-1 for Doug Collins, Steve Kerr, and Pam Oliver. Kevin Harlan saying so long. TNT is your exclusive home once again for the Western Conference Finals. Now let's send you to Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet, and Sir Charles in Atlanta for Inside the NBA.
Thank you.